Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Kerbal. It is way past midnight at the time that I'm recording this, so I'm going to be speaking in this soft and somber voice throughout the entire thing. Seriously though, I'm going to be a little bit more subdued than I am usually, because I'm usually just exploding with energy. But today I'm going to keep it somewhat quiet, just for the sake of not disturbing people who live around me. Anyway, today we are back here around Ike. And specifically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be performing a triple, that's right, you heard me, a triple landing. I'm going to try, having already set myself a number of possible locations, using the KerbNet on the Ike, hang on, this is not the Ike station, this is the Ike station. Using the scanning device, a narrow band scanner on top of the Kerbal, Sean's Ike space station, I was able to determine the possible ore locations, now that I finally understand how this thing works. And I have marked a number of good locations where we have obviously not as good a source of ore as we did down at the bottom, but at least we're going to have ore in a spot where we can easily land around the equator. I have concluded that placing that outpost on the southern pole of Ike was a bad idea, despite the fact that it was the logical thing to do because of the richness of the ore, as you can even see from this very descriptive heat map. But I think that in the long term, just being able to have a base where you can very easily land on is just far more beneficial. So that's what we're going to do. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to head back to the tracking station, and I'm going to speed forward time a little bit. The landing site that I have chosen is currently in the dark, and I would like to change that. So, the landing that we're going to be landings, more appropriately, that we're going to be performing today are going to be threefold. Number one. Okay, let's just set Ike to be our focus. The first landing that we're going to perform is... There we go. Yeah, that'll do. So the first landing is going to be the landing of the truck. The truck obviously is the mobile part of the base. It's the one we're going to use to haul parts to the station and connect it. It's the one we're going to use to refuel spaceships that land there if need be. And just in general, it's going to serve that particular purpose of ours. Nav points for our possible landing sites can be seen on these nav points that I've added to the map. We're going to be landing at this one. I'm going to activate this nav point. This is going to be where I'm going to try to land. And so the truck, which through revolutionary new design now has a probe core attached to it, so it doesn't actually need a pilot out here. This entire flight was pilotless. And what I am going to do is I am going to, first of all, send the truck down to find a suitable spot to land the actual base. We're going to need something that is, fairly flat, someplace where I can easily set it up with, even a few possible sites for expansion. But anyway, that's what we're going to be starting with right now. So first off, we are still in a very nice equatorial orbit around here. We'd like to keep it like that as much as possible. And so I'm going to be putting us down right along the middle of this giant yellow zone. Right about there. We want to hit it as close to that zone as we possibly can. Although we do technically want to be a little bit, past it so that we don't end up landing too far in front of it. It's fine though, because due to a very lengthy preparation phase in which I refilled the large fuel canisters, the large 3.5 meter canisters around Kerbin, we have plenty of fuel left over. One might even say that I became a bit excessive with this, but that's fine. You didn't see it, didn't waste any of your time, so I am pleased. Now, truck is going to land and it's going to scout out our locations for us. So let's speed ahead. Right about to here. And now we can begin rapidly slowing down. Don't really need to worry about fuel. Oops, that was my mistake. Okay. I'm actually fine with this for now. I'm gonna even us out. This is on the horizon, like so. So that when we're directly above the spot that I have noted, like I really like that high ground over there. Yeah, keep us moving. But I think like right around here, I'm gonna bring us back up like this. We're not trying to perform a precision landing right now, we're just kinda trying to touch down somewhere. This looks like a lot of really good ground. Really nice areas. Okay, I can see my shadow, so it's probably good if I start taking this whole landing thing seriously. I can always just kick up the engine if we're not, you know, we're looking like we're gonna crash and explode, but we're coming in at a very nice rate, I think. Yep. Just gonna kind of let her fall down. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to climb that hill, see where that takes us. And of course, I don't think we need to bring out a brand new crew for this. Expected that to happen, that's fine. It's really only the truck itself that we need to survive. I'm even gonna separate the rest from it. And it's also, I think, time that I switched off the reaction wheels. There we go. That's not what I meant. I meant to toggle torque. There we go. And, well, we have now successfully landed, so I'm going to turn this on, run the analysis first of all, pin this and keep it up here. We have a 6.72% surface, so it's about half as much as we had back at our original base, which is, you know, just fine, really. So the only thing that we really have left to do is find ourselves a nice flat area where we can set up our base. I'm just going to kind of casually drive around here, look for a spot somewhere up on the high ground, and when I find it, I will rejoin you. I think I have found it. It's a nice peaceful spot here in the middle of this valley. It's relatively flat, relatively high ore on the surface, so I am going to leave this truck right here as a spot for our base to find. Speaking of which, I believe it is time we brought that part in now. And it just so happens to be at the exact right spot. This is it. This is the Ike station. It's a bit different. It's an Ike base. A bit different of a target than we had last time. Not a lot of fuel left over in this one, as you can see. I am going to take all of what is left and put it in here. I have kind of redesigned the base. Made it a bit different. This one, like the other one, also has a tiny probe core on top of it just to assist with the landing. It will require, eventually, an actual crew to run it. And I'm going to carry the crew from the other base over here to this one. Okay, and we're all topped up. Sweet. So let us detach this. We're not going to need it. Set the truck as our target. I'm also going to delete this waypoint so it's not in our way. Flip us over to the retrograde side. The big bulky Ike base does take a little while to perform its maneuvers. I'm going to stow these, because landing this baby is going to be a bit more of an ordeal than the other one was. That I can say pretty much for certain. So I kind of, I like this tower design. It makes sense that, we use one of these instead of having structural parts. It's going to need to store fuel anyway, so that might be the area. It's got 2 large ore tanks and 2 large drills. It's also sitting on top of a converter and hopefully enough thermal control systems to keep this thing running from, overheating. I hope. We'll find out. Anyway, it's time we started to slow down. I need to activate the engines. And fuel is not flowing to these engines. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, this is apparently not going to work as I had planned. I should have connected these. I should have connected fuel to these somehow. It's alright, we can find a way past this. Let me quickly take a look and see what my last persistent save was. Come on. It's going to send us back to the Kerbal HQ. Apologies for this fumbling. This is just my usual problems. Okay, truck has already landed, and the station... Actually, I think I know what the problem is. This is not the station. Darn it. It's okay. It's a very simple matter to switch to it. I should also probably check and make sure that the truck is actually in the right spot. Yeah, this is still attached, so let me quickly just see where I left the truck. If the truck is in the right spot or not. Truck is not in the right spot. Alright, well, give me a... Okay, truck's back in position, and as it turns out, the entire thing was really a lot simpler than I made it out to be. All I had to do was enable crossfeed on the stack decouplers. That was it. Anyway, let's repeat this, retract. Retract's going to make this episode a bit longer. I apologize for that. Once again, let's delete this waypoint so it's not in our way. Set the truck as our target. And begin descent. Uh-oh. Oh. Gonna have to do this again, I'm sorry. I destroyed the thermal coolant system. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. So yeah, let's maybe rotate us in this direction first. Alright. Now fill her up. Almost. There we go. Detach, engines are activated. Now let me quickly enable the cross feed on all of these. Alright, now I'm gonna push us a little bit away. Just like that much. Now I'm gonna flip us to retrograde. Stow the solar panels. Quick save. Repeat all this. There. Now, let's descend. See how stable this baby is. Did notice a bit of a rotation. That only seems to be a stabilization thing though, not an actual flight problem. And we're going to want to land almost exactly where the truck is. And this is going to be the part of the contract that we do to just make sure that we land the base down there. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to send down another part. I could have assembled the base in orbit, obviously, but it's nice and symmetrical now, so I want to keep it like that for as long as possible. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to send down another part, assemble it on the surface, and then in the next episode we're going to perform the crew transfer. I'm going to send a couple of flights down to the far side Minmus space, the polar Minmus space. And yeah, just gonna move the crew over from one spot to the other, basically. Alright. Alright, just keep her on retrograde for now, I guess. Nice and easy. Okay, we want to bring it down around there. See if I can't even her out a bit. Like, yeah. I want to keep her along this axis if possible. It's going to make taking off and, orienting ourselves a lot easier as the base is down. Also feel like I'm pretty soon going to want to start killing my horizontal speed. On fuel. It looks like it's right below us. Alright. Just push us back to retrograde. Not quite how I wanted it, but I can fix it. There we go. Now we should fall right down next to it. The body of the station itself pretty much serves as our landing gear in this case. So I'm just going to have to put her down real gently. Got a little frame rate stuck there for a second. Try bringing it a bit closer. No. Keep flying it that way. There we go. Precision landing. That's what we're doing here. We're making a precision landing. As much as we can, at any rate. do. Or will it? Just a bit more. Alright, here we go. Okay, that's close enough. 200 meters away, we'll just let it kind of drop down now. Coming at a nice, steady pace there. Just going to leave the thrusters on like that. Just going to wobble a bit. Oop, there we go. Station is down. It's made its landing. It's not entirely on a flat ground, but we'll excuse it. We've managed to put it down. Now the last thing, it's kind of a ceremonial thing that we have to do, but we're doing it nonetheless. Ditch the engines. And then we extend these solar panels, which are nice and high up, so that they won't necessarily hit anything. As long as everything's already down here, I can extend the coolers. Again, putting these on an action group might have been preferable. There we go. There we go. Got plenty of room in there, so let's deploy these drills. Oh wow. Not sure what that was. But yeah, this is going to be a problem. This is definitely going to be a problem. So yeah, that pushes up against it apparently. This is not something that I had any way of knowing back at the base, so we may actually have to send a separate drill module down here. Well, that's a pity. But at any rate, we still have one more thing that we need to do before this is done. I got one more thing we need to land. This one's going to be a bit more usual. This is just a small crew pod and science facility. Should extend the entire Kerbal facility, the amount of people available on the facility, to a total of 10, which is how much the contract required. And then the last thing the contract needs us to do is have 2 scientists on the station. That's not something that's going to occur for a while, unfortunately, but we do have 2 scientists in orbit of Ike, so we'll get them out there eventually. For now, just landing them near the base should be fine enough. Preferably not the debris if possible, but well, it's fine. We're right on target this time. Little pilot seat because that we don't have like single person crew cabs. 4, 6, 8, 9, yeah, plus the cupola. Okay. Speed us up a bit. Start burning a bit more aggressively. Still looking good. Flip her back to retrograde again. It's got a bunch of science equipment on there too. to have something to transmit back. And right about now I think we can start slowing her down. Oh man, look at that vector. We're headed right for it. We are headed right for it. I do like feeling like I'm good at this game. I mean, I've no illusions. I don't think I really am, but you know, I've seen people on the internet who are a lot worse. That's not, obviously that's not the point of this. The point is to have fun. Alright, there we go. Nice and gentle like. And look at that, we got it right next to it. Kick the engine up a bit. Doesn't really matter which way it falls as long as the legs follow downward. There we go. Okay. Now we can decouple this. We can switch over to the truck. We can go pick that up. And now, you know, comes the part where we find out that literally everything that I put on the base is entirely uneven. Alright, let's drive past it. Okay, you can slow down a bit now. And this is gonna call the episode for today. This is currently entirely a robotic base. Everything that's going on right now is happening without any kinds of science crew or, you know, crew of any kind. I have deliberately avoided this moment for as long as I could because, you know, I like having pilots do stuff. Come on, get out of the way. Nobody wants you here. Oh. Boy. Circular objects. Okay, hang on. I'll just do this the other way then. I want this part to be facing inward is the reason that I want to grab it there, but it's fine. It's just going to require us to do a bit more maneuvering. Come on. Good. Got it. Get another engine part in the way too, just in case we didn't have enough troubles. I'd like to undock. There we go. Move over to the other side. Another thing that we don't have on any of these buildings, lights. Shouldn't really be much of a problem, I don't think, since most of the operations only occur during daytime anyway, on account of the sunlight. Okay. For some reason, it is now going forward. Probably because it thinks I'm controlling it from there. The drone core is there, so... Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Bumped into the engine. That's gonna be a problem, I fear. Okay, so I guess we're straightening it out first of all. Riveting, isn't it? Yeah, this is probably why you want to, generally if you can, you want to assemble your bases in orbit. Just saves you a lot of this. Or, alternatively, have these things on wheels, also possible. Probably something that I should be striving for. Okay, come on. Almost. Okay, let's retract these. Both of them. There we go. Okay. Now I can extract them again. Alright, we have ourselves a new Ike base. Now, I assume this is gonna... Yeah. Tips the whole thing over a bit, but... I mean, it can still function. There's no reason it can't. We still kind of need to test out the system, so let's start the surface harvester. This is going to look very weird. And I'm probably going to have to replace these drills with other ones later anyway, but heck, who cares? For now, just do that. Fill up those tanks, and let's start a liquid fuel and oxygen conversion. And see whether or not the temperature holds. It's climbing. Very slowly, but it is climbing. Drills are at the proper temperature. Yeah. Well, these drills are definitely going to have to go, and I'm going to have to bring in new ones instead of them, but they'll do for now. Should be just fine. This thing can fill up properly. Let's stop that for now. Just, we know that this base is here, it can be used now, and in further episodes we can extend it, we can use this properly, and very soon now we can actually start working on landing on Duna. It's been a long time coming. It's going to feel really good when we finally get it done. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.